From KUOW in Seattle, welcome to Soundside. I'm Libby Dankman. Getting right to it today because we are dedicating most of our show to a new audio documentary from the KUOW newsroom. It is set at Tacoma's Immigration Detention Center, a place often outside the public eye. This prison-like facility has rapidly filled to capacity as a new era of ICE enforcement gains steam. That ramp-up has reshaped the experience for those locked inside detention, many of whom are longtime residents of Washington State. This special program from KUOW reporter Liz Jones follows the story of one woman in detention trying to navigate her way out.
4 days before her wedding, Espinosa started her morning shift as usual. She clocked in at the factory where she'd worked for 20 years. Her job was to supervise a team that fixes the machinery. She's good at fixing things. A video captures how her last day there ended. An immigration attorney stands in the parking lot, recording on his phone. Wind whips against the microphone. The image is fixed on a white bus next to a loading dock. The door opens, and 3 agents in flak jackets and face masks begin to walk people out. They start with the men, 9 of them. The first 2 look young, maybe 20. Their heads hang low, shoulders hunched forward. Their wrists and ankles chained in shackles. You can hear the lawyer and another woman shouting to them, "Don't sign anything. Get a lawyer. We're with you." Some of the men look over before they step onto the bus. Then the warehouse door opens again. This time it's the women, 7 of them, also in wrist and ankle chains. 2 are bent over at the waist as they walk, almost leaning into each other. Immigration officials sent out a press release later that day about this workplace raid. It happened at Eagle Beverage. It's a beverage bottling company about a half-hour south of Seattle. The agents came in with a search warrant for people who appeared to have fake work papers. They made 17 arrests, but the video is missing 1 person. That's because Espinosa was the first person agents got to on the other side of the building. She just stepped outside on a break when she saw the place was surrounded. This is a story of what happens after the raid, after someone is arrested, what happens to Espinosa and others who land in immigration detention and whether they can find a way to stay here. Voters elected President Trump partly for his promise to crack down on illegal immigration, and leaders in his administration, like Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, often reiterate the priority is to detain and deport violent criminals.
We're prioritizing those who have committed crimes and aliens who are a threat to public safety and national security.
Detention centers are filling to capacity, but mostly with people who have no criminal history, and plans are now underway to nearly double detention beds in the next few years. Here's White House Border Czar Tom Homan.
Look, we just passed a big, beautiful bill. We need more beds. We're looking to get 100,000 beds. And the more beds we get, the more bad guys we can take off the street.
Inside detention, the rules are shifting for the advocates and immigration attorneys who try to fight against deportation.
The speed at which we're seeing the changes now, it's insane. They've gone so fast.
And people in detention can feel like the walls are closing in.
They have to hurry because people are really dying inside. It's so bad.
As immigration enforcement reaches a massive new scale, we open a window into the detention center in Tacoma, Washington, and the questions that swirl in and outside its walls about who is really getting locked up, how they're being treated, and if their time in the United States is almost over. Something to know about Espinosa is that she's a fairly private person, but she wanted to tell her story because so many people are in a similar situation. We agreed to only use her last name. We started to talk soon after she was locked up in the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma. The phone lines are terrible. I asked her how she was sleeping.
Ay, muy mal. Me despierto muy temprano, a las 3 de la madrugada ya estoy despierta.
Really bad, she says. I wake up really early at 3 in the morning because there's so much noise here. Her dorm room is next to the cafeteria, and she hears the cleaning crew at night and heavy doors open and close, keys jangling. We talk about her health and day-to-day life there. I'm sleeping more during the day, she says, because I'm woken up so early. I'll get some breakfast, then wait to get my medications, then they'll call everyone back for a head count. A lot of the daily schedule revolves around when guards need to move them places, for meals or medications or to court. Sometimes meals are hours late. At meals, it's a lot of potatoes and bread, she says. Today they had eggs for breakfast. They have the air a little cold here, she says, and I have a bad knee, so I feel some pain and aches in my bones, at night too. Espinosa is originally from a small town in Sinaloa, Mexico. She's 52 and came to Seattle 20 years ago on a tourist visa to visit her brother. And she just stayed. She got the job at Eagle Beverage, and she met a woman she was about to marry. They've been together 12 years, and Espinosa's become a second mom to her son. She says she also stayed in the U.S. because almost immediately she felt safe here in a way she never had before. She's gay and says she faced discrimination all her life in Sinaloa, a place known for violence and cartel activity. At one point, shouting erupts in the background. The women in her unit are celebrating because someone just came back from a court hearing and she was granted bond. That means she'll get released and continue fighting her case on the outside. The women who've been in detention for months tell Espinosa that's rare, that nobody gets bond, nobody wins their case, and most people get deported. Espinosa's started to sink into despair. She says it's causing me some anxiety, some hopelessness. We talk for about 40 minutes, then one of the guards calls her away. Okay. Igualmente. Adiós. Gracias.
Good morning, it's Immigration Judge John O'Dell in the Immigration Court, Tacoma, Washington.
This is a recording of Espinosa's first hearing. It's inside a courtroom at the detention center about a week after she arrived. She wears a yellow uniform, her hair cropped short with flecks of silver at the front. She has broad shoulders, a sturdy build.
Good morning. If I call your name, please stand and remain standing. You will be part of the group.
It's a group hearing with 5 people where a judge gives a quick overview of how their cases will be heard. And I want to slow down here because court is perhaps the most defining experience of detention. Lives are decided in hearings that can last just a few minutes, and the backdrop here is stark. This ICE Detention Center in Tacoma is one of the largest in the country. When Espinosa arrives, the population inside is growing at a rate not seen in years and will more than double during Trump's first 6 months in office. Pressures build as the living units and courtrooms become more crowded, and that pressure hangs in the air like a summer heat wave.
I will first address you as a group to explain your rights in these proceedings.
Primero me voy a dirigir a ustedes en grupo para explicarles sus derechos en estos procedimientos.
I will then speak to you individually to discuss the facts of your case.
Después voy a hablar con ustedes individualmente para discutir los hechos de su caso.
The purpose of these proceedings is to first determine whether or not you can be removed from the United States.
At this first hearing, the judge will ask them if they plan to pursue any legal option to stay here, like asylum, or maybe they have a path to a green card. This will buy them some time to get a lawyer and see if they have a way to fight deportation.
Each of you should have received a copy of your notice to appear.
One by one, 3 men in Espinosa's group make a choice to give up and just get out of detention. None of them have lawyers.
¿Qué me quiere decir, señor?
O sea, yo lo que necesito es, renuncio a mi derecho, pero lo que necesito es regresar a mi país, o sea, mi salida voluntaria.
What I want is, I'm waiving all of my rights, and I want to, what I need is to return to my country, so what I want is voluntary departure.
All right, sir. Well, I have some questions I have to ask you first, so be patient.
In these 3 cases, the men ask for voluntary departure. It's a way to avoid a deportation on your record, but you also have to pay for the flight yourself. O'Dell asks each person which country they want to return to.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua?
Mexico.
Mexico? Yes.
Honduras?
Honduras?
Sí.
Yes.
Judge Odell grants 2 of the voluntary departures. The other will be a deportation. Each case takes about 5 minutes. The oldest guy in the group is 48, and he's been here the longest, about 20 years. He tells the judge his partner is here, although they're not married. He seems to waver as Odell reviews his departure deadline and his option to appeal today's decision.
¿Sí ha entendido usted sus derechos de apelación?
Pero la puedo mantener todavía hasta el día 23.
But can I maintain that still until the 23rd?
Si hay un cambio de opinión mía.
Like, for example, if there is a change of mind from my part.
Sir, you wanted a voluntary departure. I'm giving that to you.
Usted quería salida voluntaria, yo se la estoy dando.
Okay, está bueno.
Is that what you want?
¿Es eso lo que usted quiere?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes or no? Is that what you want?
Dígame un sí o un no. ¿Es eso lo que usted quiere?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Good luck to you and safe travels back to your home.
Buena suerte y buen viaje de regreso a su país. Gracias. Thank you.
Now for Espinosa's turn, and the choice she'll
Ma'am,
make.
did you understand all the rights I explained to everyone this morning?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you want more time to try to find a lawyer or to prepare your case?
¿Quiere usted más tiempo para ver si puede encontrar un abogado o para preparar su caso?
Estoy en busca de un abogado.
I am looking for an attorney.
All right. I'll have you come back to court.
Odell gives her a date to come back in about 3 weeks.
And that's all for today.
Ya es todo por hoy.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Only about 14% of people in detention can find or afford an attorney, and those who do are 10 times more likely to win their case, according to government data. For Espinosa, there will be several more court dates ahead, each one forcing her to new decisions. There used to be more legal help for immigrants in detention. Federal grants paid for regular workshops where classrooms full of detainees will learn how to navigate the court system. But the Trump administration cut that money, so people are fully on their own unless they find a lawyer. Xiomara Uran is an immigration attorney who used to help with these workshops in Tacoma. We talked about it while walking around a park nearby.
So before, for instance, with the legal orientation program, they would reserve 3 rooms for us to conduct our services. Now they don't.
Uran is with the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project, a main group offering free legal help to detainees. With the detention center filling up and the workshops gone, she says it's become a wild card system to get legal aid to people, and attorneys fight for time and space to meet with detainees one by one, day after day.
So we've had to strategize on how to go about it. But if you go at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., you're probably going to wait between 3 and 5 hours before you can see anyone. And so this past month in cash, I've been there at 6:50 in the morning just to secure the ability of seeing my people in the morning without spending hours and hours just waiting.
Another attorney said by email in August, this has now become the norm. The best bet is to block off a full day to wait and see a client. Uran says ICE officers inside can also drive a wedge between detainees and their attorneys by filling detainees with doubt.
They've told people that we have disappeared. And that what's the point of fighting? Because there's no one to fight for you, so just ask for your removal, or self-deport now.
Uran has taken up Espinosa's case and encouraged her to fight.
Good morning, Immigration Judge John O'Dell, Immigration Court.
3 weeks after Espinosa's first hearing, the next one is again with Judge John O'Dell. It lasts 2 minutes. She tells him she does have an attorney, but they need more time to prepare her case.
All right, ma'am, this is the last time I will continue your case for an attorney.
Esta va a ser la última vez que le dé un aplazamiento para su abogado.
You come back next time without an attorney, we're going to go forward with that one.
Si para la próxima vez usted regresa aquí sin un abogado, vamos a tener que proceder.
Sí, está bien, muchas gracias.
He sets the next date in 2 weeks. The Tacoma Detention Center first opened in 2004, and protest followed. A central issue is just the existence of this prison-like facility. At last check, 70% of people in detention nationwide have no criminal record. A private contractor called GEO Group operates the facility through a contract with ICE. Both GEO and ICE declined interviews for this story. Protests ignited again this year as ICE ramped up arrests and more families, workers, advocates, and politicians spoke out. They create a whole ecosystem around the detention center. Over the summer, I met several families trying to figure out the opaque rules of detention. Some who didn't know for days where their relative was taken, or why, or how to help them get out.
My name's Tricia Humphrey, and I'm from Minnesota, actually. My relative that is being detained here at the facility is actually from California. She has a visa. She has a real ID, an SSN, working, paying taxes, and she just went out to her car one Saturday morning to go put something in her car, and she was approached by 3 men, unidentified, started asking her questions, and zip-tied her and put her in a van and took her away. And the only reason the family knew this happened is because there's security cameras outside of the home. And so they suspected it was ICE, but again, they wouldn't tell her why they took her at first. I mean, don't they have to? I mean, or is ICE playing by a totally different set of rules?
She didn't want to share the name of her relative, but I saw her inside the courtroom that day, sitting next to Espinosa, both in yellow uniforms. The judge reviewed that she had a pending asylum application, a work visa, a job in a California school district. He commented that she makes a good salary. The government is claiming her visa expired, but her lawyer and family say it's valid through 2029.
They keep saying it's not a jail. It's not a jail. It's a detention center. However, when I went to go visit her, it's like talking through glass on a phone. I didn't get to hug her. I couldn't. So, I mean, it's jail.
Tricia says she wonders who's benefiting from this whole operation. The immigration jails, the planes they use to transfer people.
They took her on a private jet with 2 ICE officers to take her to another state. How much did that cost?
Was she the only one?
She was the only one on the plane. And she's heard that from other people here, too, that they were the only ones. So to me, follow the money. Where is our tax dollars going?
We talk near the gates where ICE transport vehicles come and go. A few vans pull in with detainees inside, and ICE escorts a couple of people out who are getting released. One is a man from Kenya who won his asylum case. Another is a man who's a legal permanent resident with a green card, and his relative, waiting for him, also doesn't know why he got picked up. This administration has stepped up enforcement of green card holders who have a criminal history, even if it's decades old. Technically, the government has discretion to try to deport people in these cases, but it's a shift to see agents pursuing these longtime residents, detaining them at airports and border crossings.
I'm embarrassed, I'm going to say, that I didn't know that this was happening, right? Because it wasn't happening to me. I didn't feel it. And so when you kind of take a step back, you're like, what else is happening? Because so much is changing so fast.
Eventually, the guards escort her relative out of the jail and open the chain-link fence for her to walk out. She's wearing corduroy shorts with embroidered green flowers, her hair in tight braids. And she just collapses with emotion about all the people still inside.
You have to hurry because people are really dying inside. It's so bad. It's the worst is on earth. Yesterday I told them when I called, if I don't call you, it means I don't know where. I don't trust them. They're so scary.
They rush off to Tricia's car to see if they can make a flight home tonight to California.
All right, let's get you to the car.
Espinosa passed the weeks in detention, often looking for quiet and small ways to cope. She'd call home every day to talk with her partner and her teenage son. They'd come to visit on evenings and weekends when her partner had a break from work. Sometimes she'd watch TV with the other women. Sometimes she'd talk with her former coworkers who were also detained with her after the raid. Sometimes she'd play basketball by herself in a small outdoor area, just for a break from the noise and crowd.
Basketball, y ahí nos sentamos afuera, a veces toque a leer o a platicar con los demás compañeros.
The women who'd been there longer would talk about everything running slower because there wasn't enough staff. They could go days with no outdoor time. She says her connection to family and friends kept her going, and also knowing that she had a lawyer on the outside fighting for her. Espinosa had something else going for her. Plans to get married to her long-term partner, who's also a U.S. citizen. They had the rings, the marriage license, everything set. Then that raid happened at Eagle Beverage 4 days before the ceremony. She spent what was supposed to be her wedding day in detention. Her attorney, Xiomara, had an idea. What if they got married anyway, in detention? Having a U.S. citizen spouse could give her a legal path to stay, but it's not a slam dunk. And making a marriage happen in detention involves some red tape. They filed the paperwork with ICE, and they waited as the days counted down to Espinosa's next court date. We'll pick up on what happens next for Espinosa after a short break.
You're listening to Soundside. I'm Libby Dankman. And today we're airing a KUOW documentary that follows the story of a woman inside Tacoma's immigration detention center. Espinosa was arrested during an ICE workplace raid in Kent just 4 days before her wedding. She was set to marry her partner of 12 years, who is a U.S. citizen. We just heard about her attorney trying to get the marriage approved to still go ahead inside detention, and they were hoping it could happen before a court deadline to give Espinosa a better chance to stay in the United States.
Tough conditions inside detention can also push people to give up their legal fight. Around the country, Congress members have stepped up visits to ICE detention centers and called for more transparency, especially as places hit capacity. The Tacoma facility is in Representative Emily Randall's district, and I met her outside after her third visit this year. She worries about staffing shortages and how it's affecting detainees.
They have a number of staff openings that are unfilled that give me concern. Lots of folks who have said that they're unable to get outside, given the number of shifts for outdoor recreation.
Healthcare is another big issue for access to medication, chronic issues, or injuries. Espinosa has stage 4 kidney disease. Randall gave credit to the medical staff inside trying to provide care, but detainees also tell her about long delays.
A lot of folks are just deciding not to keep showing up, not to keep trying, not to even file complaints for a lack of access to care. And that demoralization, I think, can have really negative outcomes for individuals, for their physical health, for their mental health. And we're seeing more and more people who are signing to self-deport because they don't have any fight left in them.
Randall is also a member of the U.S. House Oversight Committee and said she plans to keep up these visits because it's important for the staff and detainees to know Congress is watching.
There are individuals in our caucus who have been denied access to many facilities around the country and who, as individuals, have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration and ICE denying them access.
GEO Group has long maintained that it follows national detention standards and is committed to providing the highest quality services possible. We talk next to train tracks just outside the front gate. The location here can feel out of the way in this industrial corner of the port. But many ICE detention centers are far more remote, sometimes hundreds of miles from a major city and support networks. As you walk along the tall chain-link fence that rings the facility, you come to a vigil with flowers, candles, and posters. A banner remembers 2 men who died inside the detention center in 2024. Rufina Reyes leads the advocacy group behind this vigil and behind more than a decade of documenting detainee experiences here.
We try to take maybe, 100 calls a day, but...
From the detention center?
Yes.
100 calls a day?
Mm-hmm. And so many of them we can't take because when we are talking with one person and another call is coming and we can respond at the same time.
The calls come in on 3 separate lines. Her group's called La Resistencia, the Resistance, and they've spent years tracking some of these same complaints about living conditions and access to health care. They've also hit barriers, trying to stay in contact with people inside.
When GEO Group, they know they are talking with us, they cut the lines. They put on solitary confinement to these people. That's retaliations.
Sometimes people who talk with them get transferred to another state, and then others will decide it's not worth the risk and go silent. On any given day, so many lives cross paths outside the detention center, and you see people sharing information and stories.
You gonna pray? Oh yeah, because you was last. That's right.
One Saturday, a church group gathered to pray outside the front entrance.
Lord, we remember every single brother and sister in there, Lord, the staff.
A group leader tells me they just finished a ministry with the women, Espinosa's unit.
Your hands and feet here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, y'all.
On this day, I also meet a nun who drives 3 hours from rural eastern Washington to visit people from her community.
I'm Sister Mary Ellen Robinson. I'm a Catholic sister, and I'm here to visit a young man who was detained when he reported for a required legal making his presence known. He's a young man who's here seeking asylum. He's part of a large family that needed to leave Mexico because their lives were in danger. And his family are very worried about him, and they are totally afraid to come anywhere near here.
She's holding a paper with the visitation schedule marked in yellow highlighter. It's a detailed system of odd and even days for each unit. And the schedule on ICE's website is different from the paper version at the check-in desk.
I came thinking that the visiting time was from 10 to noon, and it wasn't. It was from 7:30 to 10, and now I have to wait till noon to get in.
The days count down to Espinosa's next court date, the one where the judge said they need to move forward. Her attorney knew the marriage would make Espinosa's case stronger, but they were running out of time to make it happen. Finally, 10 days before Espinosa's court date, they got the approval. Espinosa's fiancé arrived at the detention center that Saturday morning wearing a white pantsuit, her long brown hair down past her shoulders.
For my wedding day, I imagined it like being with my friends, with family, of people that love us.
We're only using her first initial, G, since they're worried about saying anything that could affect Espinosa's immigration case. She met their lawyer, Xiomara, outside the front gate, and they walked in together, along with G's teenage son, Espinosa's brother and nephew, and a family friend, all U.S. citizens who showed their IDs as they got checked into the facility. ICE did not respond to my request to attend the ceremony, so G and I talked outside after it was over, and she did her best to keep up a smile.
I have two emotions, like feeling excited because it was a special day for us, but also sad because it wasn't in the place that we wanted or the way we wanted.
She says Espinosa seemed in good spirits.
Just to be able to hug each other, that's the moment my heart was like, because it was emotional. And
the brides always cry on their wedding day, right?
Yes.
These are tears for different reasons.
Yes, yeah. So we are hopeful, and I saw her like more relaxed in that sense, because she, for many weeks, there were times that she was like very scared, was very stressed, and like depression is that
Depressed.
Depressed, yeah.
After they exchanged rings, the officiant asked if they wanted to share personal vows. It caught them both off guard. They didn't think they'd have a chance to speak here.
Yeah, like I said, we were very nervous.
Yeah.
So.
What did you say? Do you remember?
I don't know. I forgot. I missed something about like this is like a test for us. But if we are going through this, we are able to, in the future, we can accomplish many other things. So I know that after this, we're gonna always be together and keep going.
Espinosa's attorney, Xiomara, seems hopeful this marriage will give her a better chance at bond, to get out and continue her case outside of detention.
Now things are very strong. In other words, I can never say that things are going to be smooth, because immigration court is always difficult, particularly when in the detainee setting. And so the plan is now to get her out through bond.
But bond is just one step toward freedom, because even if Espinosa gets out, she'll still have to fight to remain in the U.S. And there's a higher bar to prove it's a bona fide marriage when one spouse is in deportation proceedings. Xiomara has started to gather documents and family photos going back more than a decade, all three in Christmas sweaters, celebrating birthdays or school graduations. That will all be needed down the road. The day arrives for Espinosa's next court hearing.
Good morning, ma'am. What is your best language?
Español.
This is when the government presents charges against someone, like they entered the country without permission or overstayed a visa.
Bueno, tengo un abogado que mandó una aplicación, la 42B.
At this point, the person will tell the court what application they plan to file to try to stay in the U.S. Asylum applications are really common. After that, they'll get an individual hearing where the judge will rule on the merits of their case. People are rarely deported at this initial step, but it's possible if someone misses their hearing or the judge determines they have no legal claim available.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
As we heard in the previous group hearing, some people at this stage ask for voluntary departure to return to their home country. And sitting in court some days, some people without attorneys seem confused about their options. One day, I watch a man from Cuba ask for voluntary departure, then change his mind and say he'd try an asylum application. Then later, a man from Guatemala asks about asylum, but when the judge asks if he's afraid to return to his home country, the man says no. An interpreter on the video screen grimaces. Well then, you're not eligible for asylum, the judge tells him, then gives the man an order for voluntary departure. It can all go so fast.
All right, ma'am. Well, we're going to go forward in your case today without an attorney.
Espinosa's attorney is not in court today because they expect this hearing to be pretty straightforward. Judge Odell starts with the government's charge that Espinosa overstayed her visa.
Yes. Did you remain in the United States beyond that date without the authorization of the Department of Homeland Security?
Sí.
Yes. I sustain the charge.
Next, he reviews the application Espinosa plans to file to avoid deportation. She has a few options. And Odell is candid about how the government recently jacked up the filing fees on this paperwork.
On July 4th, the law changed. The fee was increased. And I believe it was changed such that I cannot grant a fee waiver anymore.
Some application fees recently increased from $100 to $1,500 or more. The judge then keys in on a file in her case, showing that Espinosa's new wife has applied to sponsor her for a green card.
Are you married?
Sí.
Yes. Well, that's the best thing you can do. Are you still in a relationship with your spouse?
Sí, con mi esposa.
Yes, with my wife. Okay, well, that's something you really want to look into.
Esto es algo que definitivamente usted quiere ver.
Because she's filed a petition for you.
Ella tramitó una petición a favor de usted.
You were admitted to the United States, so you can get your green card in the United States through your wife.
Si usted fue admitido a la esposa de usted.
Yeah, there's some hefty fees for that now, too.
Pero ahora también
that paperwork will all get sorted out later. For now, the bigger deal in Espinosa's case is her bond hearing to see if she can get out of detention. That's set for tomorrow, also with Judge Odell.
And we'll talk about your bond tomorrow, okay?
Next day, Espinosa is back in court along with her attorney. Bond hearings are not recorded, but I watched in the courtroom with Espinosa's wife, G, and several relatives who came for support. Espinosa is already seated, facing the judge, when a guard escorts us in. She's wearing her yellow uniform with a sweatshirt layered underneath. Her relatives fill 2 wood benches behind her. They all seem to avoid each other's eye contact, to hold off their emotions. In the past few years, Tacoma has become known as one of the strictest immigration courts in the country for bond approvals. Judges here have taken a controversial direction with bond hearings and begun ruling out a whole class of people once eligible for bond. And their decision hinges on whether someone entered the country with permission. So someone who overstayed a visa is eligible for bond, they've said, but someone who crossed the border without permission is not. This debate is a subject of ongoing lawsuits. Espinosa and her family sit silently, looking stressed, as the judge prepares his decision. Espinosa's niece and sister-in-law hold hands, and G draws her son in, close at her side. For this family, now torn apart nearly 8 weeks, the pressure has built to this moment. Then, in an instant, it lifts away. Judge Odell grants Espinosa bond. It will cost her $3,500. It's on the low end. She turns to her family as she leaves court and pushes a tear off her cheek. Now her family will race to get the bond paid before the ICE office here closes today, so Espinosa will not have to spend another night in detention. Espinosa was lucky to even get a bond hearing. This summer, the Trump administration made a major policy shift, calling for mandatory detention for far more people, including longtime residents with no criminal history, people who would have likely been released on bond before. ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons explained to Fox News the change aims to rein in a, quote, catch-and-release system.
We saw so many people that were apprehended illegally coming through the border and then using the bond system just to go ahead and be released out into the community to have a court date in 2037, 2035, and never show up for court.
Espinosa's family waits outside the detention gates through the afternoon, eager for her release. They have a home-cooked meal ready for her.
I want to cry, but I just hold it up.
Hold it together.
Hold it together, yeah. So many people have helped us, support us, and I believe in God. So I believe that everybody that was here to help us, it was put by God. To be together again, it's like a dream, really like a dream. Like I'm waking up from a nightmare.
I ask how she feels about the overall case ahead to petition for Espinosa's green card.
Hopefully we get a judge that is fair and compassionate. But I'm nervous, very nervous. But just having her next to me is it's gonna be more easy. Everything's gonna be more easy. I hope so.
What are you thinking of? What's making you emotional right now?
That it was really mentally, it was really hard this month. And sometimes I felt like I couldn't keep doing it, like doing by myself. I couldn't. I feel like I was doing everything wrong, or like I was not doing enough. A few times I got what is called ataques de pánico.
Oh yeah, panic attack.
Panic attacks. There was times that I thought, my heart, I'm gonna get physically ill.
The sun falls toward evening. ICE usually releases people by 5, but we're still waiting, close to 7. Then finally, Espinosa calls. She'll be in one more night.
Bye-bye.
Igual.
Bye-bye. 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 Te quiero. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
She had a welcome party here tonight. The next day, when she's released, she'll end up waiting on the curb outside because nobody told her family when she'd get out. Her freedom comes with one more unexpected weight on her, an ankle monitor. Her attorney, Xiomara Uran, is livid because a judge explicitly gave her bond with, quote, no conditions. That includes no ankle monitor. It'll take a few weeks for Xiomara to figure out this is another new ICE policy to expand the use of ankle monitors on people with pending immigration cases. Xiomara says when she appealed the monitor to Judge Odell, he lowered the bond. As an attorney, Xiomara Uran watches these more restrictive policy changes build on each other. The access to attorneys, to bonds, detainees transferred far from home, and she sees it all leading to a much tougher fight for anyone who wants to stay here.
If I see that somebody doesn't have much of a case, I don't think it makes sense to give them a false sense of hope and keep them there detained. And then for the people who actually have a fight, I ask them to, at certain times, to be patient, which is not easy for me to say when I'm not there.
After 52 days in detention, at last, Espinosa is back home with her wife and teenage son. and we got a chance to talk in person with an interpreter. She talks about the simple things they like to do as a family, the things she missed.
Salir al cine.
We like to go to the movies.
Salir a caminar a los parques.
We like to go walking. We like to go walking through parks.
Sí, pues salimos, yo creo que lo normal, pues lo que hace las personas, ir al mall, a comer.
We like to go out just like regular people. We like to go to the mall. We like to go out and eat.
Pensar en cómo empezar.
It's difficult for me to think about starting over.
Estamos los tres pues unidos siempre, entonces.
We're together, the three of us, always.
She's sleeping better, but initially with a lot of disruptions due to the ankle monitor.
1 de la mañana.
They'll call me at 2 a.m., at 1 a.m.
A las 12.
At 12.
A las 4.
At 4.
Casi todos los días.
Almost every day.
The calls would wake her in the middle of the night, asking for her location. I'm in bed sleeping, she'd tell them. In public, she'd keep it hidden.
Me siento así como que dije, bueno, ¿qué hice, no?
I feel like, what did I do?
Yo soy muy de usar shorts. Con el verano ahorita, honestamente, no se me antoja mucho.
I usually like to wear shorts in summer, but I don't feel like it right now.
I ask a somewhat indelicate question about why, in all their years together, they didn't get married sooner to protect her. Protection was never part of the conversation, she says.
O sea, no solo por eso, sino también por amor, porque no puede ser también solo por conveniencia. O sea,
I think they have to do it for love,
creo que el matrimonio,
not just for convenience.
Creo que el matrimonio pues es algo serio, no es solo firmaste un papel y ya.
I think a marriage is a serious thing. It's not just a piece of paper and that's it.
Espinosa's main concerns are for her family, her health, and her work. She lost her health care when she lost her job, and she may be eligible for a work permit while her case is pending, but that can take months. She wants to work to help pay rent and bills and legal fees. Plus, she enjoyed her 2 decades at Eagle Beverage. Her job there was to fix broken machines, and she sees something broken with the way ICE is targeting workers.
La gente no está haciendo, o sea, más que trabajar, no es...
All people are doing are working.
Porque es una forma de sostenerse la gente y no depender del gobierno o de otra cosa. O sea,
so people are doing it to support themselves. They're not depending on the government or any other means of support.
16 people were arrested with Espinosa during that ICE raid in May. She doesn't know what happened to most of them, if some got deported or left the country voluntarily or are fighting to stay, like she is. Looking back, she says the time in detention left a mark.
Pues yo creo lo más difícil, no solo para mí, sino que creo para la mayoría es el encierro, el estar incomunicado.
I think the most difficult thing for me and for everybody was the feeling of being locked up without any communication.
She came out feeling like a different person.
Creo que sí, bastante, más que nada es mentalmente.
I think very much so, more than anything mentally.
Porque honestamente pasó todo lo que yo no quería que me pasara.
Because basically, in reality, everything happened that I didn't want to have happen to me.
It's okay. We can take that.
Tomemos un descanso.
Espinosa seems a little surprised by her own emotion. She's private, reserved. She likes to be a steady anchor for her family. A picture frame hangs in their dining room where we sit. It simply reads, "Family Forever." Nationwide, immigration detention is reaching record highs, with an average of roughly 60,000 people held each day. The massive bill President Trump signed in July quadruples the funding for detention to keep expanding in the years ahead. White House officials call it a once-in-a-generation opportunity. For KUOW News, I'm Liz Jones.
This KUOW documentary was written and produced by Liz Jones, edited by Isolde Raftery, with additional editing from Marshall Eisen, mixing and sound design by Hans Tweit. Thanks for listening to Soundside. This show is only possible because listeners support us. If you're able to give right now, please check out the show notes for a link to donate. And don't forget, you can listen live on KUOW 94.9 FM Seattle at noon and 8 p.m., Monday through Thursday, or anytime online at KUOW.org.